The New South Wales Treasurer Matt Kean has sensationally denied undermining Scott Morrison over the party's Warringah candidate. That's despite calling for Katherine Deves to be dumped over comments she made about transgender women in sport. The New South Wales Premier is standing by his Treasurer, though, saying all Australians deserve the right to have an opinion.
New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet wasn't keen to engage in the debate over transgender women in sport.
It's incredibly important that we are sensitive in our language and we are sensitive when we're engaging in those discussions.
The same can't be said for his Treasurer Matt Kean. After calling for the Liberal candidate for Warringah, Katherine Deves, to be disendorsed for calling transgender children surgically mutilated, Mr Kean has denied he is undermining the Prime Minister in the middle of an election campaign.
The last thing I'm doing is undermining the Prime Minister or the Premier. The Premier and I are in absolute agreement that these comments were abhorrent. They are vile and they have no place in Australian public discourse.
But the Premier has selected Katherine Deves. He was part of the committee that selected Katherine Deves for this seat of Warringah. So you are going against your own Premier.
Well, I think that's not right, Ben.
Miss Deves has the backing of both Scott Morrison and the New South Wales Premier and has apologised for the comments.
I've made my views known, the Prime Minister's made his views known, and now it's up to the people of Warringah to determine what they think about this position.
You are joining the Green Left pylon against a Liberal candidate.
Let me be very clear, Chris. This was an apology that came because it was called out by the media. This is not a one-off drunken Twitter rant.
The New South Wales Premier is standing by his Treasurer and denies Matt Kean is white-handing the Prime Minister and sabotaging the Coalition's chances in Warringah.
Most fair-minded Australians look at those issues on face value and make their own assessments. And from time to time, I'd expect when I was if we're heading into a state election campaign in 12 months' time, that people will have different views on things that I've said or policies of the New South Wales government.
I think Australians are getting pretty fed up with having to walk on eggshells every day because they may or may not say something one day that's going to upset someone.
Leaked text messages have emerged suggesting Mr Perrottet is backing the Prime Minister on the issue of transgender women and sport. Both parties deny the leak. Danica Di Giorgio, Sky News, Sydney.